Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. Okay, so Lakers Pacers saw the second half of the third quarter and beyond. I was able to see all of that. First half, I didn't see, as always. You guys know the story with my situation, but I'll tell you this: watched highlights as I always do. Watched some guys talk about it here and there, and of course, with what I was able to see, I was able to come up with enough to give you a little bit on the game. So this is what I got. Basically, the Los Angeles Lakers were able to get away with running some really small ball lineups because of the heroics of LeBron James. That's what I saw. The Indiana Pacers came out there, put up an okay night in terms of shooting the ball. I don't think they shot as well as they would have liked to, but you know, ultimately were able to have the lead for a good portion of the game here and there. But ultimately, it was the Lakers, LeBron James, who just was not having it tonight. Um, I like what I saw out of Malik Monk. I love what I saw out of our entire team, to be honest with you, in terms of production. You know, in the last game, we didn't have a whole lot of help from everyone. In this game, we got that. DeAndre Jordan was running the floor very well, was giving us some boards. Dwight Howard had a much better game tonight, gave me more of what I was hoping to see of him. Also rebounding the ball. I think he walked out of it with 9. And Carmelo Anthony was playing extremely well, given the fact that he was asked to play power forward down there with LeBron James at the center, or vice versa. And those guys, you know, they did a very good job of dealing with what they had to deal with, given the fact they were going up against some real centers in Sabonis and, of course, Miles Turner. But you got to give credit to those guys. You know, they just continued to try to rebound the basketball and put themselves in positions to ultimately be of service to our paint. Even though we'll talk about it a little later. There's more to say about that, but all in all, I like the effort they gave us. Wayne Ellington was a pacer shooter tonight. He was shooting the ball out of that arena tonight. They could not do anything with that dude. 4 threes from what I saw, and they were all in rhythm. He was just excellent. So, you know, it's one of those situations where he wasn't able to give us a whole lot on this road trip, but to close it out in this Pacer game, he was a huge focal point of what we were doing. Malik Monk continues to impress yet again. He comes out there and does everything we need him to do. Hitting shots, step back, quick threes, layups, and things of that nature, making sure that he's available to finish for us in the fast break. Had some good things there. Just a lot of good from Malik Monk on the offensive end. Once again, one of the more consistent players for us. And our shooters, you know, it was him and Wayne. They just made sure that they spread that floor so well for us tonight and put us in a position to ultimately have a good victory. Malcolm Brogdon on the other side, 28 points. Got to give him credit. He continued to be aggressive. I think he had 7 boards. He made things very difficult for us. But Russell Westbrook played a good game tonight for the most part. He had his mistakes. You saw them. We had some things out there, but he hit some clutch free throws, was aggressive tonight, and basically was not the story. And that's ultimately what we want from a player. Just don't be the story, you know. And since he's coming off a fantastic game in New York, he played a good game from what I saw again tonight. So I didn't have a whole lot to complain about in regards to Russell Westbrook. So, you know, LeBron James. Now, tonight we saw a situation where Domantas Sabonis kind of came down on his eye and knocked him to the floor. It didn't cut his eye open like Stewart, but it had me thinking about how that whole situation played out. And just, you know, a lot of people think LeBron did it on purpose, including myself. I think that he did that to fire up his team and to let out some frustration, maybe something that he probably did impulsively that maybe he probably wouldn't want to do twice. But karma came back and got him a little bit. And I was just thinking, like, man, Isaiah Stewart's grandparents or somebody probably praying against that situation, saying, "Lo, get that boy back. He hit my son and hit him back." So it was almost a little bit of universal karma there coming. But ultimately, LeBron James was able to will himself a victory, 39 strong points. And you just have to give credit to some of the shots that he was hitting in overtime as well. I mean, the dude was just hitting 3-point shots, turnaround fadeaways. I mean, you could just clearly see that everything that's going on in this road trip, including being suspended, has ultimately fired him up in a way that he hadn't been fired up in a very long time. I don't think I've seen LeBron James angry like that in a Laker uniform. Nah, that he had the Kobe snarl. He was doing the big nuts, celebration after a 3-point shot. Got some fans kicked out. I don't know. They said the magic word to him or something. He got them up out of there. I mean, it was just a very seriously spirited effort. You saw him playing fantastic defense during certain sequences, even though the calls weren't going his way. You could see that he was bodying people up, playing the weak side, helped roll very well, rebounding the ball well. Just a great game from the King, man. You know me. I don't get up here and talk too much about great players as it pertains to giving them credit for playing great, because I expect greatness from greatness. But sometimes when the games go this way, you have to give credit, because it wasn't just about what he was able to do from a greatness perspective, but it was more so about an attitude perspective. It was more so about his approach, his response to everything that's going on. And he came out with a killer instinct. And that's something that I want him to tap into every game, because that's what's going to be required in order to drag this team to where he wants it to go. If he doesn't do this for the rest of the season, this team is not going to be the champion. It's that simple. They have no chance at a championship. So that's the reality of it. No AD tonight. Flu-like symptoms. He was also sick in the last game. So they just decided that it would be best to sit him out for this one, let him heal up. And it worked against us, of course, not having him out there. That goes without saying. And so it limited us in some ways down the stretch of the basketball game, to where we needed to have some size on the floor, and we went with Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, as I said earlier. And although they gave us a good, valiant effort, we had a situation where we were up 6 with roughly about 45 seconds to go. And suddenly, because we had that small ball lineup on the floor, we could not get any boards. We gave up offensive rebounds, and one of the offensive rebounds that we gave up in that sequence was the shot that ended up being the shot heard around the world. Chris Duarte hit a corner 3-point shot. That thing fell into the net about as pretty as Derek Fisher's .4 shot. That's what it looked like to me. It kind of fell in the same kind of way. And it was just one of those fluky type of things. But it doesn't happen if we have Dwight or DJ on the floor, because we're able to rebound the ball there. But Frank Vogel decides to go small, and it burned him again. He starts the overtime with that same exact lineup, having not learned a single thing, and we ended up giving up 2 offensive boards in the overtime early on. But luckily enough, LeBron James was able to continue his heroics. He was on a spirited mission for us not to lose tonight, and we were able to bust through that mistake and ultimately win the game. But honestly, Frank Vogel, once again, kind of disappointed me in his decision to go small down the stretch. He went big for the majority of the game, and we did have some success. I don't know what the foul situation was looking like for our centers, and I know AD wasn't out there, so I kind of am not coming with the same energy in regards to being frustrated about it. But plus we won, so that helps. At the end of the day, though, you could totally see where this game was the Pacers to lose, and they just didn't grab it. That's what happened tonight. They were taking some bad shots, missing those bad shots, turning the ball over down the stretch, giving us opportunities that we otherwise would not have. If we were playing against a better team, they would have beat us. And of course, that's saying not too much given the fact that AD wasn't there, but it wasn't that AD wasn't there. It was how we were running things because of it. And it's just like anything else. When you're getting 9 rebounds out of Dwight, 11 rebounds out of DJ, and then in the last minute of the game, you're giving up 2 offensive rebounds with neither one of those players on the floor, I don't think this was a success. I came in and gave LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony credit for being valiant in their effort to play those positions together, but it was a total failure. Make no mistake about it. That was a failure. LeBron busted through it. He saved the day. He used his heroic talent to overcome the flaw of that circumstance. And I want everybody to understand that's how I feel about that, because I know that they're going to say, oh, they won. The Lakers won because they used Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James at the center and the floor. And what I saw was the Lakers absolutely and utterly get away with doing so. It wasn't that it was working. It's that it wasn't. But they were able to run through it. So That's what I saw. I hated it. Don't ever want to see it again. I'm pretty sure they're gonna run it again because we won. So it is what it is. I'm glad that we ended this road trip with a victory. Um, you know what I mean? I'm very happy that the Los Angeles Lakers were able to find some sort of success during a struggle period where we didn't have our stars for pretty much either any of the games in this road trip. Did we? Anybody? Did we have all three of them for any of those games? I don't know. But all in all, you just hope that we're starting to get healthier as games are progressing, get closer and closer to having Kendrick Nunn and you know Austin Reeves and all those guys, Trevor Ariza. I just think that the Lakers are still going to continue to have issues without our full team. So there were some things that we could say we saw in this road trip that we could be happy about. Particularly improvement from Russell Westbrook. I think that was, besides all of the stuff that happened, I think the one thing that I can honestly take away from the road trip is that he improved some in the road trip. We still see some of the things that we've been seeing, mistakes and stuff like that are there, but his confidence level is coming along. He's finishing better, and like I said, he's not the story, and that's ultimately what we hope for. So now, Frank Vogel, the conversation has been, fire Frank Vogel, fire Frank Vogel. I'm totally on board with that. Anytime they want to do that, I'm going to be on board with that, because ultimately I just don't like some of the overall adjustments that have been made or not been made in certain cases by our coach here. But I just think that LeBron James kind of saved his hide a little bit tonight. This is one of those games where if we lose this game, people are going to be saying that he's in the hot seat. But because we walked away, it's one of those situations where they're not going to have that necessarily on their mind right now. But the problems that we have are still evident to me. We just got to win. That's all. We got a victory. It doesn't necessarily mean those problems aren't in place. So, yeah. Problem is, who do you bring up? And we've had this conversation. I don't know if the Lakers can improve on their coaching situation if they fire him right now. That's the only thing that would concern me. I know we can call up one of our guys to be interim, but I don't know that makes us better necessarily. But we do need to make a change there. So I'm hopeful that we just get bold. We're the Lakers. At the end of the day, 17 championships in, I'd say we're doing all right. But at the end of the day, we're just not satisfied with where we're at. We put together this team to win the championship now. We didn't put together this team to start building something that maybe could be okay over the next several months. No, we wanted to be a contender. And right now, this team is not a contender. They're a lot of things, but contender they are not. Now, with the heroics of LeBron James, we can do anything. If he plays to his greatest level, we can win every championship every year for the next 100 years. That's how great of a player he actually is. But the reality is he's later in his career at this point, and because of it, time is running out. So we're being a bit patient, more patient than I like. I'm more of a emotionless move maker as it pertains to this type of thing. I want cut and dry, everything to just kind of fall into place immediately, and whatever has to be done, just do it. And I feel like right now it's two things that need to be done. But the most important one of those two things is to make a change so that our offense, particularly, can just look better. So that the players on our team can start to look better in the offense. And if that happens, then you'll get the most out of them defensively. It's going to trickle down that way. We're never going to be a good defensive team with this roster. And Frank Vogel is more so best in a defensive situation. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not that Frank isn't a good coach. We just don't have his type of stuff. It's the same thing we had going on with Mike D'Antoni. Fantastic offensive coach. But we had a bunch of trees and guys that couldn't shoot. It was the worst fit in the world for him. And I think no different about this situation for Frank. We're just going to need an imaginative, offensive-minded coach that can run unorthodox schemes and various, genius-type plays that can mold this unorthodox fit into a championship bunch. and you just can't have no run of the mill. No disrespect to him, but no run of the mill defensive coach, and think you're gonna make an offensive, you know, weird type of fit work. No, that's just not it. So, yeah, Lakers need to make some moves, and more pressure needs to be applied on Rob Pelinka to put together a team that isn't an unorthodox fit. Enough of this. That's what I want to say as a Laker fan. Enough. Enough. Every year I've seen us put this team together in unorthodox, weird ways that are not conventional and do not necessarily fit LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm tired of looking at this. First year was the kids. Second year, we had, that situation where it wasn't necessarily a bad thing at all. We won the championship, even though we had our ups and downs. It was a tough year. We won it. And then we come back with our unorthodox fits, undersized guys, non-passing scorers that don't defend, and Schroeder. Just a weird fit that didn't work. Drummond and all that weird stuff that came with his game. And now we come here with Russell Westbrook. It's just, would it be too hard to just put together a conventional team around LeBron James that fits his skill set? Shooters and athletic bigs who can run the floor and catch lobs. Would it kill us to just put together something real easy and simple? Why must we get a bad contract attached to a player that has holes in his game and bring him here and try to force fit it to work? And I got to shoot our coach some bail. You're messing with his legacy as well, because you're giving him something that he can't do nothing with. And when he walks away as a coach who failed with the Lakers, even though he won a championship, but with this season, it's like, okay, everybody wants to fire him. It's like, what situation did you give him? What position did you put him in when you gave him this impossible offensive situation? So, and most importantly, impossible defensive situation. Forget that. For him, he needs defense. So let's stop this. Relieve him of his duties so he can find a team. He's going to get another coaching job, I'm pretty sure. Let's do this, even though I'm not so sure what we're going to do with our coaching situation. I do know that this offense is not good enough, and our defense is going to always be bad as long as this is our roster. So that's what I got, man. I'm a broken record. I'm tired of talking about this, to be honest with you. It's one of those things where it's like you just kind of know already, In my head, I feel like I already know what the Lakers need to do, and I also already know they're going to drag their feet, and it's just like, can we expedite this process? Like, I already see where this is going. Can we just skip a couple of steps and just do this now? Because I think it'll help us. I think it'll help us if we do everything we need to do this week, if possible. Now, granted, Russell Westbrook being traded, I know. That's a pipe dream. I think we're stuck with that contract. But as far as Frank, yeah, that can be done. That can be done. Just got to have the guts to do it. And most importantly, make small moves too. Don't just think addition by subtraction in terms of the coach. You have to get some defensive players down here. You have to get rid of some of this dead weight. And we do have some. Tonight, we had everybody show up. Everybody who played well. It was a team game. Maybe we see more of that. And my conversation changes. But as of right now, we're not getting enough production overall, and we need it. We simply need it. So, that's what I have to say, man. Good win in Indiana, even though that small ball stuff almost got us beat. But we were able to pull it off, man. Able to pull it off. Great playing by shooting, great playing by the king. And, man, just give us that killer instinct every night. Every night. Tap into that energy every night. Be mad like that every night. And I want AD to get mad like that too. That's what I'm looking for from AD. The energy and that type of snarl and that Mamba type stuff, that's what I'm asking AD to find within himself. If AD gets angry like that, then you'll start seeing those astronomical statistics that I've been telling you AD's capable of, that we haven't even seen any signs of. I'm talking 56 points, 58 points, 5 blocks, 14 boards, 7 assists. Like, he can do a lot of things for you if he really taps into his greatness. And I don't know, he just hasn't been healthy enough maybe. Maybe he just hasn't been in good enough shape to do that. But I think a big part of that is the fact that he's in this stagnant offense. I think that's probably 70% of it, to be completely honest. So, that's what I got, man. My name is BDF44. I'm pretty sure there's more to this particular game that I'd like to give you guys, but it's just so much that happened. My mind ain't gonna keep all that in it. But I will tell you that I enjoyed what I saw in that fourth quarter. I'm glad we won in overtime, and the king was monstrous. BDF44, thank y'all for watching. I'm out.